If you're going to tell the story of how a tumultuous marriage and a series of internecine family betrayals and at least one scandalous public shooting led to a transformation of the venerable Italian fashion brand Gucci from its classical roots to the modern style icon known today, one imagines any filmmaker being faced with a stark choice between distinct approaches. Do you make it a sprawling historical document tracking the waning days of an old-world familial business dynasty in changing times wherein relatable human stories of power, want, and regret are juxtaposed with sweeping worldly concerns like the rise and fall of empires and an inexorable shift in culture between generations? Or perhaps lean into the undeniable innate potential for camp that comes with the fashion industry territory and throw legendary balls-to-the-wall hams like Jeremy Irons and Al Pacino into elaborate wigs, ghoulish "my character has cancer" makeup, flamboyant "guess what year it is" costumes, and have everyone trade withering big Italian soap opera family who hate each other insults while Adam Driver sees Lady Gaga stomps around in stilettos and Fran Drescher's wardrobe from The Nanny, aggressively exuding more raw sex appeal than every other American actress has intentionally exuded on screen this year, and also for some reason Jared Leto is there, not only in the film. Seriously, which major studio head does he have photos of, and what's in the photos? He's in a fat suit and apparently thinks he's playing Waluigi, and given these two options, director Ridley Scott's decision was...
¿Por qué no los dos?
Bold decision, and props on being a director in your 80s and making this kind of madness, and not even his only movie this year as opposed to being retired or boring or, not around. I mean, I was almost going to leave out my usual bad Ridley Scott movie joke about how at least it's not another Alien prequel. Seriously though, Sir Ridley, you don't need to make any more Alien movies. Let other people make the Alien movies, just any other people. But yeah, House of Gucci is a trip, and feeling like two different movies crashed into each other is mostly why, but it also would have been nice if one of the two movies had been good, because none of this works. And what's sort of shocking is that the two movies you end up simultaneously watching here, the campy soap opera where people in stupid wigs and makeup are doing over-the-top accents and the plot is careening out of control and it doesn't seem to know where to end, is actually better than the more straightforward crime, history, here's what happened, business, politics stuff that you normally expect a mid-tier Ridley Scott had some time to kill between blockbusters effort like this or All the Money in the World to just crush on autopilot. I mean, maybe he just doesn't care about the fashion world enough to try and make the nuts and bolts parts work. That would at least make sense, but whenever the story isn't about watching people bounce their personalities off each other and the ability to invest in what's happening between, wavers like the consistency of whatever region of Italy Leto and Gaga think their accents are supposed to be from. As to the plot, if you, like myself, had to refresh yourself as to exactly what was supposed to be noteworthy about the Gucci family at this point in history, the film is nominally about how Gaga's Patrizia Martinelli meets, marries Adam Driver's Maurizio Gucci, eldest competent heir to the Gucci fashion empire, and in the film's telling manipulates him, his father and uncles, and the business itself into its present-day form as a modern-style brand, but also dissipates her marriage in the process as her methodical scheming to transform the bookish, introverted Maurizio into a confident alpha dog businessman works too well, and he recognizes her as an enemy within, leading to his own assassination and a sensationalized trial that scandalizes Italian high society in the mid-1990s. So basically this is The Godfather, but with the central male-female relationship reversed by way of Macbeth, wherein the morally upright heir to the decadent empire of questionable power isn't pulled toward the throne he thought he never wanted by his own obligations and away by the woman from outside that world, but instead back inside by both because she's the ambitious one who wants the power more than he ever did. And while Driver is up to the task here, with OG Michael Corleone himself, Al Pacino, to play off for a part of the film as the wily uncle who at first allies himself with Patrizia, and it's fun to watch yet another wardrobe and makeup department try to make sense of how Hollywood keeps repeatedly casting this very large, very intimidating, clearly still built like a Marine actor as a shy, lanky dork for some reason. It's very clear that Lady Gaga is the only person in the movie who understood the assignment of what movie she's actually in. That's not to say she's good in it. I'm not actually sure that she is, or that it's possible for anyone to have been good in this. Just that it seems like she's the only person who's always hitting the same weird, is this supposed to be funny or serious? Is this camp or melodrama? Are we making fun of this material, or did something go wrong at the editing level notes at a consistent pitch? And you can feel much the whole thing come to a dead stop during any of the stretches, which feel much longer than they actually are, when her character has to drop out of the storyline, to much the extent that the film imagines her character as a force of romantic, sexual personality, or just human performance charisma that simply bowled over everyone from individual men to boardrooms to an entire company until she didn't. The performance matches the characterization, and she's absolutely the reason to see the film. And that's no small feat for anyone when you're acting opposite not only Pacino, but Jeremy Irons, Driver, Salma Hayek, and whatever the hell Leto thinks he's doing. Unfortunately, the rest of the film just can't match her energy. There are moments that are a lot of fun, vignette, the bits where either Gaga or seldom Ben Hammy or of late Pacino are allowed to just hurl their best assets across the screen and see what happens, but too much of it is a colossal slog, and the parts that should feel like it's ramping up, like the arrival of Tom Ford to the fashion scene or any of the big fashion history beats, are instead where it creeps to a crawl. Call this a 4 out of 10, it's not awful, but if it wasn't going to be good, it should have at least been fun.